Hi guys, welcome back. So in today's tutorial we'll just be finishing up with the skirt and of course joining the bustier and the skirt together. So this is how I'll be marking the darts at the back of the skirt. This is center front, but I'm sure if you watch my previous episode you'll know how to do that. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do and like my videos. You'll watch the previous videos of how we derived to this stage, and of course I'll be adding half-inch darts at the back. So let's get started.
Yeah.
So I've gone ahead to stitch the dart at the back, and I'm going to be stop stitching it as well. So this is center front, and you also do that at the back as well and iron it. Please ensure you press it. So here is me pressing the back of the skirt. So ensure you press it and make sure it's very smooth. So now the next step is for me to stitch the zipper side. I used 1.5-inch allowance there. So when I stitch half-inch at that part, I'll be left with 1 inch. So I'm going to be stitching half-inch there, then turning it and ironing it. So here is me pressing it again. So every step of the way, try and make sure you iron or press your garment so it will look very smooth and very nice. So I'm going ahead to join the center front skirt and the center back like so, to ensure the lining and the fabric is placed equally as you stitch. Make no mistake, even try as possible as to pin it down. Then you stitch half-inch on both sides. This is the side seam, so ensure you take note of that. So as I'm doing like so, I'm just going to be pinning it and stitching half-inch and trim it as well. So watch as it's done carefully in order not to make any mistake. So I'm going ahead to trim it and I'm going to be turning it. So of course I use 1.5-inch allowance. So now that I've taken half-inch, so I'll be left with 1 inch. So I'm just going to stitch that there. So I've gone ahead to do that, and now I want to make sure I mark my darts together. It must be equal and it must be the same measurement. So I noticed that if there's a part that is a bit slightly wider, so I'm just going to measure the allowance there that is left, and I'm going to stitch that inside the fabric. So that's like 1/4. So I'm just going to be stitching it on both sides like so that the fabric, everything would be equal when I'm joining them. So as you can see, I'm just going to be taking 1/4. So now that I've done that, I'm just going to be stitching the bodice and the skirts to make it neat. So I've done that, and I'm going to be trimming the rough edges so it will look smooth while I join. So I've done that already, and here we have it. It looks so smooth. So now it's time for me to pin them in place. So I love to pin them equally on the dart positions. I like to mark my pins there. As you can see, I'm trying to locate where the pin is going through, and it's going through right into the stitch where the part is stitched. So I'm ensuring that it's in place so that by the time I'm done, none of the darts will look away from each other. So ensure you take note of that as well. You can see exactly. So as soon as I'm done with that, I can actually stitch it through with half-inch, and I'll show you. So I've gone ahead to stitch it. So I'm just going to be joining the skirts together at the zipper side. So I'm just going to be measuring 8 inches below the waist. I'm just going to be measuring 8 inches below the waist because it's free on me. So normally I might do 9 inches. So I'm just going to measure 1 inch down and stitch it. So I've done that already. So with that said, I want to be adding bias. So because I'm not weaving, I'm not overlooking locking it. So I need to add bias to it so it looks very neat and clean. So I'm going to be adding bias. This is just 1 yard of bias, and I'm sure this is okay for me. So I'm going to be adding it like so, the way I'm joining it. So this is how I'm going to fold it and stitch it. So I'm just going to stitch it all through, and this is the aftermath of me stitching it. So after stitching, I noticed the part where I need to fold up again was too thick, so I needed to trim it a little bit, not totally. So I'm just going to be trimming everything like so, then I can fold it up and stitch again. So this is how I'm just going to be stitching the bias for the final clean finish. So I've gone ahead to do that so it looks very smooth. So joining the invisible zipper, I like to ensure that I press the invisible zipper. This is just for an invisible zipper. I like to make it very, very flat, because when I don't do that, I don't get to see where I want to stitch properly, and it won't really, really rest or be in place when you're stitching it. It might be very difficult. So I like to iron it. Don't iron the zipper like so, but just ensure you make it very flat before you iron it. So I'm using my clapper just to make sure it's very, very flat and I can start my stitching. So I'll be using the zipper foot. So this is a zipper foot to sew zips. So I'm just going to be using that, and the next thing is just to place the zipper on the zipper allowance side. So I have an intake of 1 inch which I'll be using. So this is how I'll be placing the zipper on the dress and fold it at the top and stitch. So ensure you follow the way the lines are going, the way the garment is going. Follow it carefully and stitch on it. So after that is done, I will just show you how it looks. So after going ahead to do that, so this is how it looks. Oh my goodness, this looks very neat. So the next part is just to flip it to the back and cut it. So you can notice that, as you can see, the zipper is really long, so I needed to trim it. So I'm just going to be cutting it through like this, and I'm just going to be folding it like I am doing like so, and stitching that part of the zipper so that it will look very neat. So I'm going to stitch it, and when I'm done, I'm just going to cut that part. So I've gone ahead to stitch it, and I'm just going to be cutting that side. And okay, so this is how it looks. So you can see how smooth it looks and how it's resting very well on the dress, and I'm just going to zip it up. So this is how it looks. So the last stage, or the last thing to do, is just to press it and press it till it's very flat and smooth. And in case you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do. So this is a final fit. I didn't even do any adjustment because it was just so perfect. So please subscribe to my channel and see you in my next video. Bye.